All righty, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome back to another session of the Hindu Analysis and to the Law Entrance YouTube channel. Today is 21st of November. A lovely, cold, breezy Friday evening. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm doing well too. Good evening to everyone who has joined. Riva is here, Kushagra is here, Karthik is here, Arish is here, Tejas is here. Okay, Sneha is here. Surprisingly, today I'm seeing your usernames in the chat box instead of your names. Like I see Riva Khaneja 005, Kushagra Saxena 6795. I don't know if there's a change in YouTube's setting or something, but all I see is your username. So some people I can't identify. There's a username Y though user HF8D random usernames. आप लोगों को भी usernames ही दिख रहे हैं? Probably a change in YouTube's policy. But anyway, welcome to the stream, everyone. कहाँ हैं बाकी सब लोग? Where's everyone else? All right, ठीक है, चलो. आज हमें बहुत जल्दी जल्दी चलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स हैं आज हमारे पास करने को एंड आज हमें 8:45 तक रैप अप भी करना है बिकॉज देन वी हैव अ strategy session for the last 15 days which I would be taking for you. Last 15 days to CLAT, how to prepare, how to go about it. We'll discuss all of it, of course your doubts as well. So definitely join for the 8:45 session as well. Don't leave the stream after Hindu analysis ends. Please join the other link to join the 8:45 p.m. wala session. It's going to be a killer session today. ठीक है, मैं चाहता हूँ ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टाइम दें हम आज के सेशन में. आई बी देयर एज लॉन्ग एज पॉसिबल टू आंसर ऑल योर डाउट्स वंस वी आर डन विद द बेसिक exchange which we have to do. Right, चलो आज का एजेंडा देख लेते हैं. What all do we have to look at today? First of all, and the most important article of the day, I believe, is the Supreme Court verdict on how the judiciary cannot tie down the precedent. There are a lot of discussions around it, lot of questions and answers around it, which we'll discuss all in utmost detail on this article on the PPT. Then there is another front page article where the trade tensions are easing down and US has agreed to sell missiles to India. So that we'll discuss. Then an editorial regarding fisheries and aquaculture. बाकी के editorials मुझे उतने ज़्यादा रिवॉर्डिंग नहीं लगे. टू ऑफ देम आर ऑन बिहार इलेक्शंस, वन ऑफ देम इज ऑन एप्स्टीन आइलैंड. एप्स्टीन वाला हम थोड़ा सा डिस्कस कर लेंगे. बिहार इलेक्शंस आई थिंक वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड एट लेंथ एंड नॉट दैट रेलेवेंट फॉर यू, तो हम उतना टाइम उस पर इन्वेस्ट नहीं करने वाले हैं. Then there is another first in India where an Indian born cheetah has given birth to cubs. Can you guys tell me the name of this cheetah? न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ के आए हो तो आप लोग को पता होगा नाम क्या है इस चीता का. देन अजीत डोवाल हैज हेडेड सिक्योरिटी एनक्लेव विच इज द कोलंबो सिक्योरिटी एनक्लेव. तो उसकी थोड़ी सी बात कर लेंगे हम बिकॉज समिट्स एंड इंटरनेशनल एनक्लेव्स ये इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है हमेशा ही. And of course 3 new vocabulary words for the day. So that's all on today's agenda. And as you can rightly see, आज मैंने Menti quiz नहीं रखा because I think this would take up easily 40 to 45 minutes and we won't be having the window to conduct a Menti quiz today. So Menti quiz is deferred to Monday. The syllabus of the Menti quiz remains the same. Current affairs for the month of January, February, March. So come prepared accordingly. I'll try to create a lengthier quiz, at least 17, 18, 20 odd questions. And yeah, that's all on our agenda. Back 8:45, once again, for people who have recently joined, we have a strategy session. Please join in that as well. Very important session today. Okay, ठीक है. I can see 19 people on the chat. Revising saying I don't read newspaper nowadays. आपके analysis सीधा attend. चलो ये भी सही है, कोई दिक्कत वाली बात नहीं है. Most important चीजें तो हम लोग cover करते ही हैं यहाँ पे. ठीक है, you guys can do that. I mean, that's okay. Let's come to the newspaper very quickly. We'll move a little fast today, deliberately, because I want to invest maximum time in your strategy session and less on less relevant things because आ गया है वो दौर अब जब we need to be more cautious with our time. All right, ठीक है. I hope the newspaper is clearly visible to all of you. This is today's Hindu newspaper, 21st of November. Turnout is a little low today, which is a little disappointing. टाइम नहीं मिलता जी के करते हैं. ओके ठीक है. मुखी इज द राइट आंसर बाय द वे, जो मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था. चीता का नाम द नेम ऑफ द चीता इज मुखी. ऑलराइट, कूल. जल्दी से स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का न्यूज़पेपर. जुडिशरी कैन नॉट टाई प्रेसिडेंट गवर्नर टू टाइमलाइन, सेज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. डीम कंसेंट यूसर्प्स function of president and governor and is antithetical to the constitution and the doctrine of separation of powers, says the court. However, it opines against sitting on state bills through prolonged and evasive inaction. आसान भाषा में समझें तो अगर आप प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर से उनके फंक्शंस छीन लोगे यानी कि यूसर्प कर लोगे तो वो डीम्ड कंसेंट एक उसके आप कह सकते हो अम्ब्रेला में आ जाएगा कि आपने कंसेंट मान ही ली ऑटोमेटिकली कि प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर तो कंसेंट देंगे ही देंगे. दैट इज डीम्ड कंसेंट है ना. सो दैट यूसर्प्स मतलब दैट स्नैचेस अवे द फंक्शंस ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट एंड गवर्नर एंड इज एंटीथेटिकल मतलब गोज अगेंस्ट द स्पिरिट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड द डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स व्हिच क्लियरली सेज दैट लेजिस्लेचर, executive and judiciary would stay independent of each other and would hold their own powers, would not overbear or overbreach each other's powers. कौन सा आर्टिकल हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का बताता है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स के बारे में? जल्दी से चैट बॉक्स में बताओ. आर्टिकल विच टॉक्स अबाउट सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स इन द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, क्विकली इन द चैट. Now, court opines against sitting on state bills through prolonged and evasive inaction. मतलब ऐसा भी नहीं है इसका मतलब कि आप बहुत लंबे टाइम तक बिना कुछ एक्शन लिए स्टेट बिल्स पे बैठे रहोगे. तो इन्होंने 14 क्वेश्चंस रेज किए एंड कोर्ट ने उन 14 क्वेश्चंस पे रिस्पॉन्ड किया. वो 14 क्वेश्चंस भी आज न्यूज़पेपर में लिखे हुए हैं, जल्दी से हम उनको देखेंगे. पीपीटी पे भी जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वाले हैं उनको देखेंगे. सो ये आर्टिकल हम पीपीटी पे डिटेल में करने ही वाले हैं. 27 member new Nitish cabinet takes charge. BJP gets 14 berths, JDU gets 8. JDU is Janata Dal United, we all know that. एंड इस आर्टिकल में आपके लिए रेलेवेंट क्या है? नीतीश कुमार 10वीं बार बिहार के चीफ मिनिस्टर बन गए हैं, रिकॉर्ड बना दिया है. कल ही हमने डिस्कस किया था ये. मोदी जी, अमित शाह, ये सब लोगों ने अटेंड किया है इसको. 26 मिनिस्टर्स हैव sworn in, 14 फ्रॉम बीजेपी, 8 फ्रॉम जेडीयू, 2 फ्रॉम एलजेपी विच इज रामविलास पासवान वाली पार्टी, 1 फ्रॉम हिंदुस्तानी अवाम मोर्चा, 1 फ्रॉम राष्ट्रीय लोक मोर्चा. ये आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बस एज अ फैक्ट मैं आप लोगों को बता रहा हूँ. इसमें 26 मिनिस्टर्स में से 21 एमएलएज हैं, मतलब मेंबर्स ऑफ लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली हैं, और 4 एमएलसीज हैं, मतलब मेंबर्स ऑफ लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल हैं. अब इसके बाद जो है सेशन स्टार्ट होगा 26 नवंबर से, जिसमें नए स्पीकर का इलेक्शन होगा, स्पीकर ऑफ द बिहार लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली, एंड ओथ टेकिंग होगी इन नए इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स की. अब इन्होंने थोड़ा सा बैलेंस करने की कोशिश करी है. जो कास्ट आप कह सकते हो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है इन द कैबिनेट, where 8 people are from general category, 6 from OBCs, 6 from EBCs, which is extremely backward classes, 5 from scheduled caste, and highest caste wise representation देखें तो Rajputs are the highest represented caste in the cabinet. बस इसमें इतना ही है और कुछ ज़्यादा important है नहीं यहाँ पे. Left hand side पे you can see Gatka celebrations going on marking 350 years of the martyrdom of the 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in Jammu. All right. ठीक है. Trade row eases, US approves sale of missiles to India. This will discuss on the PPT. क्या है यहाँ पे context? Search on for 5 declared foreigners by Assam Tribunal. Okay. Manipur police sent incomplete clips for forensic analysis, says the Kuki group to the Supreme Court of India. अब यहाँ पे क्या context चल रहा है? This case is about a organization, a cookie rights organization, जिसका नाम है KOHRT. ठीक है. एंड इन्होंने एक एफिडेविट फाइल किया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में. दिस केस इज रिलेटेड टू सम ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग्स which allegedly contained some phone conversations between N Biren Singh. Who was N Biren Singh? मणिपुर के पिछले सीएम जिन्होंने रिजाइन किया after protest happened, where he was accused of inciting ethnic violence. दंगे भड़काने का उन पे आरोप लग रहा था उन फोन रिकॉर्डिंग्स में. फिर फॉरेंसिक रिपोर्ट आती है. फॉरेंसिक रिपोर्ट कहती है कि उन्होंने एग्जामिनेशन किया इन ऑडियो टेप्स का एंड दे वर फाउंड टू बी मॉडिफाइड या फिर एडिटेड या फिर टैम्पर्ड. किसने किया फॉरेंसिक इन्वेस्टिगेशन? NFSU ने, विच इज नेशनल फॉरेंसिक साइंसेज यूनिवर्सिटी, विच इज बेस्ड इन गुजरात. अब ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है KOHRT, विच इज अ कुकी राइट्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दे आर चैलेंजिंग दिस. दे आर सेइंग दैट मणिपुर पुलिस ने जो ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग भेजी NFSU को, वो फुल ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं थी, पूरी ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं थी. इंस्टेड दे ओनली सेंट 4 शॉर्ट कटआउट क्लिप्स which were under 5 minutes, whereas the original recording is almost 49 minutes long. And इस वजह से NFSU properly उसको check नहीं कर पाया, उसकी continuity नहीं judge कर पाया, authenticity नहीं judge कर पाया. एंड ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है KOHRT, इन्होंने कोर्ट को रिक्वेस्ट करी है कि वे एक SIT बनाई जाए, स्पेशल इन्वेस्टिगेशन टीम, इसकी प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराई जाए कि क्यों इनकम्प्लीट क्लिप्स भेजी, क्यों ऑडियो टैम्पर करी गई, क्यों पूरी रिकॉर्डिंग जो है नहीं भेजी गई. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पहले भी डायरेक्शन दिया था कि NFSU की रिपोर्ट का हम वेट करेंगे एंड वो फिर शेयर करी जाएगी पटिशनर जो KOHRT है उनके साथ. एंड 2 हफ्ते का टाइम दिया था उनको रिस्पॉन्स अपना फाइल करने के लिए। एंड ये जो अब उन्होंने प्रेजेंट एफिडेविट फाइल किया है, ये वही रिस्पॉन्स है कि भाई हम सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है इन इन्वेस्टिगेशन से। तो बस यही है इसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट, पूरा का पूरा मैंने आपको मुद्दा बता दिया, समझ में आ गया होगा आपको। ठीक है, सिटी बेस्ड न्यूज इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट, सो विल स्किप जल्दी जल्दी राइट पास्ट इट। प्रोटेस्टर्स अटेम्प्ट टू स्टॉर्म फेस्टिवल वेन्यू इन मणिपुर, पुलिस रिजॉर्ट टू लाठी चार्ज। अब यहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है कॉन्टेक्स्ट, एक फेस्टिवल होता है मणिपुर में जिसको हम बोलते हैं संगाई फेस्टिवल, SANGAI, संगाई फेस्टिवल। दिस वाज हैपनिंग इन द कैपिटल इन इम्फाल एंड thousands of protesters here clashed with the police, and this happened just one day before the festival was about to begin. And the question is, why were they protesting? The protesters had multiple categories of people. Some were internally displaced people, some were members of civil society groups, some were members of NGOs, and they were opposing the conduct of this festival. Why? Because Manipur is still suffering from ethnic violence that began in 2023, May 2023, if I'm not wrong. And still, a lot of people are displaced, and there are a lot of unresolved conflict issues which are persisting. And their demand is to resolve the ethnic conflict first, rehabilitate these displaced people, and then organize an extravagant festival like this. अब पुलिस ने इनको खदेड़ने के लिए ऑफ कोर्स लाठीचार्ज, बेटन्स, टीयर गैस वगैरह यूज करी, काफी प्रोटेस्टर इंजर हो गए। एंड वही है कि कन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ फिर से इसमें भी कुकी और मीती ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज का। बस यही सारी बातें हैं। Governor gives not for prosecution of KT Ramarao in Formula E race case. This was a case regarding misappropriation of funds for conducting this Formula E race. तो उसमें इन्होंने इसको प्रोसिक्यूट कर लिया है KT रामाराव को। Okay, Sohrabuddin Sheikh case not important. Kin of two Maoist leader file habeas corpus plea in High Court. Alright, cool. आगे चलते हैं। बीजेपी शिवसेना लीडर्स फाइटिंग, शिंदे इज हेल्पलेस, MVA mounts attack on Mahayuti. Not important at all. Move ahead. Another official dies on SIR duty in Rajasthan, citing work pressure. इतनी भी क्या प्रेशर है भाई SIR की कि लोग मर ही जा रहे हैं उससे। दिस इज बैड, दिस इज ट्रेजिक। लैंड पुलिंग फॉर कुम, MP government misleads farmers, says BKS, which is Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, threatens to restart stir. ठीक है, not important for you guys. Caste identity influences how teachers judge students in Bihar public schools, says IIM Bangalore study. I think it's pretty obvious and evident to all of us that caste plays a huge role in India, and a lot of people are judgmental on the basis of caste. And Bihar is one of the stalwarts in that aspect as well. Taran Baipul results are not important for us. SIT arrest ex-TDB chief in Sabrimala gold theft case. What is TDB? TDB is Travancore Devaswam board जो सबरीमाला टेम्पल को मैनेज करता है। एंड इनके जो एक्स चीफ हैं उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है। क्या नाम है उनका? A पद्म कुमार। bequeathed an undue financial benefit to the main accused Potti in 2019 by overseeing willful miscategorization of the gilded gold panels as pure copper. ये मैं आपको ऑलरेडी कई बार समझा चुका हूँ केस, तो ज़्यादा डिटेल में फिर से नहीं जाएंगे टू सेव टाइम। बट या, दिस गाय एक्स चीफ हैज बीन अरेस्टेड। Okay, doctor engineers turning to terror, Delhi police tells the Supreme Court. Okay, spot booking for Sabrimala Darshan kept, pilgrim rush under control. Cool. आगे चलते हैं। Spotlight, once there was a red card. An eastern kitchen front, land of the Taj. Okay, game changer in Bihar elections. You can easily skip. Left side पे new reckoning Nitish, new term must deliver economic transformation for Bihar. This also you can skip. बहुत बात कर चुके हैं Bihar elections की. I'm done with this topic. So are you guys. Let's just skip it altogether. India's fisheries and aquaculture. It's promising course. This will discuss on the PPT. कुछ important points हैं यहाँ पे भी जो आपको पता होने चाहिए. Left hand side, where you see Epstein exposure. Trump might have a lot to lose politically from the revelations. So, ये Epstein Island वाला case, I'm sure most of you have heard of, if not entirely the details of it. And क्या है ये Epstein Island वाला case? किसी को पता है? This was basically a person called Jeffrey Epstein, who was a convicted sexual offender who died in prison in 2019. एंड उससे रिलेटेड, उसकी एक्टिविटीज से रिलेटेड जो फाइल्स हैं, एप्स्टीन आइलैंड फाइल्स, दोज आर बीइंग रिलीज्ड एंड दोज आर बीइंग ब्रॉट टू पब्लिक आई। एंड यूएस प्रेसिडेंट जो है डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प, उन्होंने साइन किया है एक बिल विच फोर्सेस द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जस्टिस टू रिलीज ऑल द फाइल्स रिलेटेड टू द इन्वेस्टिगेशन ऑफ जेफरी एप्स्टीन। तो ये है थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्स्ट पीछे का। अब ये बिल जो है इनको बहुत प्रेशर में साइन करना पड़ा, दोनों साइड से प्रेशर आया था, डेमोक्रेट साइड से भी रिपब्लिकन साइड से भी। अब ये बिल इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? बिकॉज दिस गाय एप्स्टीन हैज अ लॉन्ग हिस्ट्री ऑफ क्राइम्स इन्वॉल्विंग prostitution, minors का sexual abuse, sexual trafficking of minors, and all of those heinous sort of crimes. And ये जो documents हैं, these could include his communications, email communications, SMS, telephonic communications, and इसमें जो लोगों के नाम आ रहे हैं उसमें बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग भी शामिल हैं, including politicians, businessmen, celebrities, and these redactions, मतलब redactions का मतलब होता है नाम को छुपा लेना जो रिलीज हो रहे हैं, will protect the victims, sorry, will protect the perpetrators and not the people who are victims. And इसका political context यही है कि Trump and Epstein were known to be friends in the past, and now Trump denies knowing anything about the Epstein Island related controversies. And he recently, मतलब they released 20,000 pages of Epstein estate documents, जिसमें कई बार मेंशन है डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प का, कई बार मेंशन है फॉर्मर प्रिंस ऑफ यूके प्रिंस एंड्रयू का, स्टीव बैनन जो कि ट्रम्प के फॉर्मर एडवाइजर है, लैरी समर्स जो हार्वर्ड के प्रेसिडेंट रह चुके हैं। एंड इससे जो है बहुत ज़्यादा पब्लिक और पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर बन रहा है डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प पे। वही है कि देखो कैसे आगे प्रोसीड करते हैं ये लोग। Politically, this could end up really bad for Trump and his politics. Let's see how it goes. बट आपके लिए इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन काफ़ी है। फेडरलिज्म इन रिट्रीट अंडर सिंगल पार्टी हेजमनी, इंटरव्यू है, चाहो तो पढ़ सकते हो, इंटरेस्टिंग है। Is air pollution a South Asian crisis? Let's read the gist of this. In November 24, eastern and northern Pakistan and North India faced a severe pollution event that came to be known as 24 India-Pakistan smog. Greenpeace 2023 World Air Quality Report underlined that poor air quality in South Asia is due to anthropogenic sources such as industrial and vehicular emission, मतलब man-made sources कह लो, and burning of solid fuel and wastage. The Lancet Health Journal highlighted that in 2019, India's GDP reduced by 1.36% due to premature morbidity. Morbidity मतलब death का rate, and mortality, which means the same. ये मतलब moving towards death और ये हो गया एकदम death as a result of air pollution. So yeah, that's what it is. 2024 India-Pakistan smog. What are stone quarries expand? Why are stone quarries expanding in Kerala? Quarries हमने recently पढ़ा था क्या होता है, यहाँ पे mining activities होती हैं. What is M sand? How has banning river sand mining led to expanding quarries across Kerala? Okay, let's see. कुछ important है क्या हमारे लिए यहाँ पे? Kerala banned river sand mining in January 26 to protect its rivers from degradation caused by excessive extraction. M sand, an artificial alternative produced by crushing hard rock such as granite into fine particles, quickly became a popular alternative, leading to the rise in stone quarrying. The huge demand for M sand has drastically increased the quarrying area within a very short period, says Associate Professor at Alia University in Kolkata. Okay, cool. Why is sand mining a problem? It's because of its impact on natural resource trade flows, livelihood welfare, sociological systems. ठीक है, cool. Salil Chaudhary, the singular man of multitudes. He was a poet, composer, poet, filmmaker. Legacy as songwriter and revolutionary continues to resonate deeply. Okay. England takes on Australia as yet another prestigious Ashes series gets underway. क्या बढ़िया दिन था, फर्स्ट डे ऑफ एशेज। आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फॉलो क्रिकेट, अब तो मत करो अगर करते भी हो फॉलो क्रिकेट तो, बट इट वाज अ वेरी गुड डे ऑफ टेस्ट क्रिकेट। पहले 172 पे ऑल आउट हो गई ऑस्ट्रेलिया, उसके बाद सॉरी इंग्लैंड ऑल आउट हो गई 172 पे, उसके बाद इंग्लैंड ने बॉलिंग करी और ऑस्ट्रेलिया को 120 130 के आसपास 9 विकेट्स हो गए। Lovely spell by Mitchell Stark, then another lovely spell by Ben Stokes. Mitchell Stark also got his best test bowling figures in that match, in that day. By the way, आज जो है बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग, मैं मैच देख रहा था क्लास से पहले, इंडिया ए वर्सेस बांग्लादेश ए, राइजिंग स्टार्स, मतलब जो यंगस्टर्स हैं उनकी टीम है, और भाई साहब क्या तो मैच हुआ, क्रेजी। इंडिया हार गई बाय द वे, सुपर ओवर हुआ और उसमें इंडिया 0 रन पे ऑल आउट हो गई सुपर ओवर में, पहली 2 बॉल पे 2 विकेट्स गिर गए। और फिर एक ही रन चाहिए था बांग्लादेश को, और फिर बांग्लादेश का भी पहली बॉल पे पहला विकेट गिर गया, विच अगेन रिकिंडल्ड होप कि एक और विकेट गिर जाए तो क्रेजी ही हो जाता, बट नहीं हुआ ऐसा। हर बार चांस नहीं मिलता है, बट कोई बात नहीं। एनीवे वापस आते हैं, थोड़ा सा मेरे अंदर का क्रिकेट एंथुजियास्ट भावनाओं में बह जाता है, सॉरी अबाउट दैट। एनआईए गेट्स कस्टडी ऑफ 4 accused इन रेड फोर्ट बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट केस। ठीक है। Okay, nothing important here. Monitoring China's supply of submarine warships to Pakistan, says our Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan. Arms ammunitions recovered from Kashmir Times office, say police. इंटेंस चल रहा है मामला इस समय कश्मीर में। हाई लेवल कमिटी सेटअप टू लुक इनटू नौगाम एक्सप्लोजन। बेसिकली नौगाम एक्सप्लोजन में क्या हुआ था, पुलिस जो है क्या कहते हैं, सर्च वगैरह कर रही थी वहां पे, मतलब रखा हुआ था, सीज करा हुआ एक्सप्लोजिव रखे हुए थे, अचानक से फट गए, ब्लास्ट हो गया। ED attaches Arcom assets worth 145 to Arcom is Reliance Communication, अनिल अंबानी की कंपनी। बेचारों के बैंड ही बजे पड़े हैं। Supreme Court counters appeal in disguise argument of non-BJP ruled states. It says that an advisory opinion could even go so far as to overrule, if necessary, a judgment. This divergence may open paths to take presidential reference route against uncomfortable verdict rather than taking effort to file review or curative pleas. इसका मतलब क्या है, मैं आपको PPT पे आराम से समझाऊंगा, कोई टेंशन लेने वाली बात नहीं है। What's important is these 14 questions and the court's responses. I would suggest that you guys read these questions आराम से तसल्ली से 2 बार, because क्वेश्चन बनने के चांसेस डेफिनेटली हैं यहाँ से। इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल है बहुत ज़्यादा। ठीक है, चलो एक बार हम पढ़ ही लेते हैं क्वेश्चंस जल्दी जल्दी। While it's not appropriate for judiciary to impose timelines on president and governors in glaring circumstances of indefinite inaction, the court can intervene, the Supreme Court said in its advisory to the presidential reference. Here are the 14 questions posed by the president and the court's response. कौन से आर्टिकल के अंडर प्रेसिडेंट जो है ओपिनियन लेता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, जल्दी से बताओ मुझे चैट बॉक्स में। प्रेसिडेंशियल रेफरेंस का आर्टिकल कौन सा है, एडवाइजरी जुरिस्डिक्शन ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट। ऑल ऑफ यू शुड नो दिस। चैट में क्या चल रही है कहानी। ओके, एडमिट कार्ड से रिलेटेड डिस्कशंस चल रहे हैं, सही है। आर्टिकल 143 इज एब्सोल्युटली द राइट आंसर। ऊपर आर्टिकल 50 मैंने पूछा था, सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स, एब्सोल्युटली राइट। ओके कूल, ठीक है। देखते हैं क्वेश्चंस। व्हाट आर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ऑप्शंस बिफोर अ गवर्नर व्हेन अ बिल इज प्रेजेंटेड टू हिम अंडर आर्टिकल 200? टू असेंट, which means give the consent, reserve the bill for consideration of the president, or withhold assent and return the bill to legislature with comments if the bill is not a money bill. Money bill है तो फिर पास करना पड़ता है या फिर प्रेसिडेंट के पास भेजना पड़ता है, वापस नहीं भेज सकते। Is the governor bound by the aid and advice administered by Council of Ministers under Article 200? The governor enjoys discretion and is not bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Is the exercise of constitutional discretion by the governor under Article 200 justiciable? मतलब क्या कोर्ट उस पे डिबेट कर सकता है? The discharge of governor's function under Article 200 is not justiciable. However, in glaring circumstances of indefinite inaction, the court has limited power to issue a mandamus to the governor to decide within a reasonable time period. Mandamus, we all know, is a writ which literally translates to we command that you take action. Is Article 361 an absolute bar, which means, full stop, to judicial review in relation to the actions of the governor under Article 200? Article 361 is an absolute bar on judicial review in relation to personally subjecting the governor to judicial proceedings. Can timelines be imposed under Article 200? It is not appropriate as the Constitution is silent on it. Is exercise of constitutional discretion by president under Article 201 justiciable? For the same reasoning as held with respect to governor, this is also not justiciable. Can the president be bound to timelines while exercising power under 201? For the same reason indicated in context of governor, president too cannot be bound by judicially prescribed timelines, which forms the headline of today's article. Is the president required to seek advice of Supreme Court whenever a governor reserves a bill for assent? The president is not required to seek Supreme Court's advice. Subjective satisfaction of the president is sufficient. Are decisions of the governor and the president under 200 and 201 justiciable at a stage anterior into the law coming into force. Anterior मतलब होता है बाद में. The decision of the governor and president under 200 and 201 are not justiciable at a stage anterior into the law coming into force. It is impermissible for courts to undertake judicial adjudication over the contents of a bill before it. Wait a second. Anterior would be before. Posterior would be after. हाँ तो क्या आप उससे पहले governor decisions of governor and president justiciable before the law comes into force. So they are saying that it is impermissible to undertake judicial adjudication before the contents of a bill become a law. यानी कि वो law बन जाएगा उसके बाद ही आप उस पे decision ले सकते हो. Anterior is before, posterior is later. Pardon the confusion. Can the exercise of constitutional powers and the orders of by the governor or the president be substituted in any manner under Article 142? The exercise of constitutional power and orders of the president or governor cannot be substituted in any manner under Article 142, nor does it allow for the concept of deemed assent of bills. Is a law made by state legislature a law in force without the assent of the governor granted under Article 200? There is no question of a law made by state legislature coming into force without the assent of the governor. ये क्वेश्चन क्यों ही पूछा मतलब this is little too basic. In view of the proviso to Article 145 Clause 3, is it not mandatory for any bench of the court to first decide whether a case involves substantial questions of law and has to be referred to a bench of minimum 5 judges? Returns unanswered, irrelevant to this reference. ये कोर्ट का जवाब था कि ये relevant नहीं है हमारे context में. Do the powers of Supreme Court under Article 142 of the Constitution limited to matters of procedural law? Are the powers होना चाहिए ना? ठीक है, wrong grammar. Not possible to answer in a definitive manner. Scope of Article 142 is answered as a part of earlier question. Does the Constitution bar the Supreme Court from resolving center-state disputes except by way of a suit under Article 131? This is irrelevant to the functional nature of the reference, hence returned unanswered. So these are the 14 questions and the court's responses. Supreme Court opinion draws mixed reactions from legal experts and political parties. Senior advocate Vikas Pawar says while the Supreme Court continues to guard against prolonged and unexplained delays in clearing bills, it duly respects the governor and president's constitutional discretion. ठीक है, okay. Doval host meeting in Colombo. This will discuss. Pre-budget meet, tax unions seek inheritance tax, higher corporate tax. Not important for you all. India-Israel in terms of reference for free trade agreement talks. Okay, at COP, India seeks just transition mechanism. तो COP 30 हम सबको पता है ब्राजील बेलेम में हो रही है एंड इंडिया क्या मांग रहा है इंडिया along with lot of other developing countries demanding a just transition mechanism at the ongoing summit where they are stressing for a climate adaptation finance, which means that this has to be essential कि कितनी funding allocate होगी and the current funding levels we are saying are too low. This is not an option, this has to be essential. Just transition का मतलब यहाँ पे ये है कि they are referring to a just transition work program which started at COP 27 which means 2022 and got activated in COP 28 which means 2023. And aim of this just transition work program is to shift workers from fossil fuel based jobs to renewable energy jobs and other sustainable sectors and protect their livelihood during this shift. So the transition of the workers has to be just, has to be fair. That is what this means. And इसमें इंडिया की position यही है कि we are against the climate impacts of fossil fuels related jobs and we want to create new employment opportunities, reduce poverty, protect existing livelihoods, ensure food security, provide social protection, all of those things. But India also argued that every country must be free to design their own development path depending on their national circumstances and priorities. And a future global goal on adaptation should be country driven rather than uniform. And they should allow all countries to use their own metrics and data systems and not impose uniform global standards. That's what they said. तो ऐसी बातों इन बातों पे जो है थोड़े से टेंशन्स चल रहे हैं क्लाइमेट समिट में. दे आर ट्राइंग टू फाइनलाइज अ फाइनल कवर टेक्स्ट बेसिकली कि कंक्लूजन क्या निकला. एंड देयर आर शार्प डिविजन्स बिटवीन डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज एंड डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज. डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज जो है चाहती हैं कि फेज आउट हो जाए फॉसिल फ्यूल्स. डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज इंक्लूडिंग इंडिया आर सेइंग दैट दिस वुड लिमिट आवर पोटेंशियल फॉर डेवलपमेंट and moving forward, and this would also ignore the historical responsibility of rich nations कि भाई जब आपका टाइम था डेवलपमेंट का तब तो आपने मजे से पोल्यूशन किया. जो हमारा टाइम आया डेवलपमेंट का तो आप कह रहे हो कि फेज आउट कर दो fossil fuels. That's not fair, and developed countries are resisting these commitments and they are saying that obliging to these climate finance expectations would be problematic for them to give affordable climate finance to poorer countries. तो बस यही सारी बातें हैं. ठीक है. जयशंकर होल्ड टॉक्स विद तालिबान कॉमर्स मिनिस्ट्री हमने कल ही डिस्कस किया था. आए हुए हैं इंडिया डेलीगेशन लेके बड़ा सा. नूरुद्दीन अजीजी नाम है इनका. सही. We talked about the need for effective use of Iran's Chabar port, establishing dry ports in Nimruz province in southern Afghanistan, facilitating import and export in Nhava Sheva port in Mumbai. They're also talking about faster processing of Indian visas for Afghan traders and discussed possibility of setting up industrial parks in Afghanistan. Cool. Over 50% cases in Juvenile Justice Board amid staff shortage. Pending. 50% cases are pending. Juvenile Justice Board are basically the boards which decide cases of minors. 18 से कम के offenders होते हैं. In a first Indian born cheetah, Mukhi gives birth to 5 cubs. ये भी PPT पे देखेंगे थोड़ा सा. Okay. और कुछ ज़्यादा important है नहीं, to be honest, in the newspaper. Zelensky received draft US plan to end war in Ukraine, which reportedly requires Ukraine to cede territory. Cede मतलब छोड़ना, पीछे हटना, and curb the size of its army. European countries are pushing back, viewing the required concessions as tantamount to capitulation. Okay, non-partisan caretaker system restored in Dhaka. Okay. The caretaker system was introduced in 1996, widely accepted by Bangladesh people. In two subsequent elections, two retired Chief Justice formed non-partisan government that held the elections within 90 days and transferred power to the winners. Okay. ठीक है. Trump is no longer leading, he's being led by MAGA forces. South Africa, US in talks on G20 meet participation, says Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president. Lebanon's most wanted drug trafficker arrested. क्या नाम है इनका? Noah Zeter. Okay. Skipper Gill most likely to miss must-win encounter against South Africa. This is the test match, two-match test match series. Rishabh Pant would be the Indian captain, who's currently the vice captain. Indian pugilists punched their way to 20 medals, 9 of them gold. Pugilist usually boxers के लिए use होता है word. And country के women boxers, including world champion Meenakshi Hooda and Jasmine Lamboria, former world champion Nikhat Zareen, led the way in an unprecedented gold feast at India as India finished its World Boxing Cup. Medals in all 20 categories, 9 gold, 6 silver, 5 bronze. 7 women, 2 men from the host cornered Golden Glory. Very nice. Good for us. Stern test awaits England in opener despite Australia's injury setbacks. चलिए तो मैंने आपको डे 1 की समरी दे ही दी एशेस में क्या हुआ. Okay, गंभीर कोचिंग एरा caught in a spin web. ठीक है, दैट्स अबाउट द न्यूज़पेपर. जल्दी से चलते हैं हम अपनी पीपीटी की तरफ. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं पीपीटी पे भी डिस्कस करने को. चैट में कुछ चल रहा है, मॉक्स की डिस्कशन चल रही है. All right, cool. Let's do the PPT very quickly. First article, very important, super important. Judiciary cannot tie president. वैसे तो the 14 questions gave us a good context on what has happened. But let's read. A 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court on Thursday answered the 16th presidential reference the country has witnessed. Important. कितनी बार presidential reference हुआ है? Has witnessed by opining that the judiciary cannot fetter मतलब reduce governors and president to one size fits all timetables to dispose of state bills or usurp मतलब छीनना their functions by assuming deemed consent of the proposed laws at the expiry of the court order time frame. Such a usurpation of the gubernatorial मतलब multifaceted कह सकते हो function of the governor and similarly of the president's functions is antithetical not only to the spirit of constitution but also specifically the doctrine of separation of powers which is part of the basic structure of the constitution. Basic structure केशवानंद भारती आपको पता होना चाहिए केस का नाम. यहाँ पे कितने जजेस की बेंच थी यहाँ पे केशवानंद भारती केस में? जल्दी से मुझे चैट बॉक्स में बताओ. द लार्जेस्ट बेंच टिल डेट इन एनी केस. Chief Justice designates Justice Suryakant and Chief Justice B.R. Gavai, Justice Vikram Nath, Justice P.R. Narasimha, and Justice A.R. Chandurkar underscored in their answer. The court clarified that the president and governors cannot resort to prolonged and evasive inaction by sitting endlessly on state bills awaiting their approval. Okay, so governor's discretion under Article 200 may assent to the bill, may withhold assent, but communicate reasons, may refer the bill to the president under Article 201. Supreme Court cannot impose timelines for assent or create a concept of deemed assent under Article 142. President's role is when a bill is referred, he need not seek Supreme Court's advisory opinion under Article 143 every time. Governor cannot indefinitely sit on the bill. Courts can direct governors to decide within a reasonable time frame, but not dictate the outcome of the bill. ठीक है. Article 143, we all know, advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. 141 कहता है that the Constitution mandates that the law declared by Supreme Court shall be binding on all courts within the territory of India. That is 141. Article 144 कहता है that all authorities, civil and judicial, in the territory of India shall act in aid of the Supreme Court. These two articles make it clear that the law declared by Supreme Court through its judgments is binding and all authorities are bound to comply with it. What are the constitutional options before a governor when a bill is presented to him under Article 200? ये तीन ऑप्शन हमने डिस्कस कर लिए. Is the governor bound by the aid of advice? ये भी हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. He is not bound by the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Is the exercise justiciable? Not justiciable. In glaring circumstances, mandamus can be issued. We discussed this. 361 से क्या बाहर कर सकते हैं judicial review को? It's an absolute bar on judicial review. Can timelines be imposed? No, because the constitution is silent. क्या exercise under 201 जहाँ president को refer होता है वो justiciable है? No, that is also not justiciable. Is the president bound to timelines while exercising power? No, cannot be bound by timelines. Is the president required to seek Supreme Court's advice? No, the president is not required. Can the exercise of constitutional powers be substituted under Article 142? Cannot be substituted under Article 142. Deemed consent नहीं मान सकते आप. 143 हमने देख ही लिया ऑलरेडी क्या होता है. Establishes Supreme Court's advisory jurisdiction exclusive to the president. Nature of the advice in both cases, opinion expressed by Supreme Court is only advisory and not a judicial pronouncement. यानी कि president के पास हक है उसको ना मानने का. It's not binding on the president. She may follow or may not follow the opinion. Advisory jurisdiction is derived from the Government of India Act of 1935, which allowed the Governor General to refer legal questions to the federal court. I hope the 14 questions are clear to everyone. 3 बार पढ़ लिया अब तो हमने. So clarity होनी चाहिए आपको इस पर. As trade row eases, US approves sale of missiles to India in a move that further underscores the easing of trade tensions between India and US. The State Department of US has approved a possible sale of Javelin missiles and Excalibur projectiles and related equipment to India for an estimated cost of $92.8 million, the US Defense Security Cooperation Agency said. Now, these are American-made, man-made portal anti-tank guided missiles, ATGM. Javelin की हम बात करें, they are developed by jointly by Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. These are defense manufacturers. Purpose is to defeat heavily armored vehicles such as main battle tanks. They're effective against bunkers, fortifications, and helicopters. Operational since they entered service with the US military in 1996. Range की बात करें तो effective range is 2.5 km. Advanced variants can reach 4 km. Weight is 5 kg approx. They use a fire and forget system. No need for operator guidance after launch. Target engagement modes में direct attack mode है. For conventional engagement, top attack mode है, which hits the weaker top armor of the tanks. And mobility and safety की बात करें तो these can be relocated by soldiers or reloaded immediately after launch. They use infrared guidance allowing quick post-launch cover. So that's about it. Next article is regarding India's fisheries and aquaculture. Its promising course. Fisheries and aquaculture are among India's fastest growing food producing sectors, playing a vital role in livelihood, nutrition, and trade. Over the decades, India has witnessed remarkable growth in aquatic food production that is driven by tech innovation, institutional support, proactive policy measures. Yet the sector faces challenges like overfishing, habitat degradation, water pollution, climate change, etc., which are straining aquatic ecosystems. Small-scale fishers and farmers often lack access to finance, technology, and markets, while poor traceability and inadequate post-harvest measures limit taping of the best export and domestic market potential and compromise food security. On World Fisheries Day, which is today, 21st of November, World Fisheries Day, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, which is FAO, calls for the renewed commitment to India's Blue Revolution. Blue Revolution is related to fishes, है ना? जैसे Green Revolution is related to grains, जैसे White Revolution is related to milk. You all know this. And supports the government of India's theme this year, which is India's blue transformation, strengthening value addition in seafood exports. ठीक है? Aquaculture involves the controlled cultivation of aquatic species in freshwater, brackish water, or marine environment. Brackish is salty. According to FAO, State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture, SOFIA 2024, global capture fisheries produced 92.3 million tons in 2022, while aquaculture reached a record 130.9 million tons, valued at $313 million. India contributed 10.23 million tons of aquatic animals, making it world's second largest aquaculture producer. India's aquatic food production, encompassing capture, fisheries, and aquaculture, has risen from 2.44 million tons in 1980s to 17.54 in 2022. Aquaculture has emerged as one of the key driver of this growth, reflecting sectoral modernization through advanced tech infra and institutional support. The last decade has ushered in a new phase of transformation, beginning with India's Blue Revolution initiative and advancing under PM Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Matsya is also, fish in Hindi. It's called Matsya, or rather Sanskrit. These programs have driven production growth, particularly in inland and brackish water aquaculture, while improving safety, regulation, and resilience. Reforms include vessel transponders for fish safety, digital and credit inclusion through Kisan Credit Card, and establishment of Matsya Seva Kendra for integrated support. Climate resilient coastal fishermen villages program and draft national fisheries policy are positive developments. FAO's collab with India began with the Bay of Bengal program, one of the FAO's earliest regional small-scale fisheries initiative. The FAO, through Bay of Bengal program, has supported the government of India in improving small-scale fishery technologies, strengthening sea safety, and enhancing post-harvest management. And the last article of the day is in a first, not last, second last article. India-born cheetah Mukhi gives birth to 5 cubs. So, in a first since the cheetah reintroduction program in the country, Indian-born cheetah has given birth to 5 cubs at the Kuno National Park, which is in MP, जहाँ पे cheetahs introduced किए गए थे. CM Mohan Yadav announced that this is an unprecedented breakthrough for India's cheetah reintroduction initiative. Mukhi, the first Indian-born female cheetah at 33 months of age, has now become the first Indian-born cheetah to reproduce, making it a landmark achievement for Project Cheetah. The new litter has taken, litter मतलब होता है बच्चों का group, has taken the country's cheetah population to 32, including 21 Indian-born ones now. Of the 32, 29 are at Kuno, while 3 have been relocated to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Uttam Kumar Sharma, field director of the Kuno National Park, said the cubs seem healthy and were with the mother in the wild. Mukhi was born on 29 March 2023 to Namibian cheetah Jwala, but soon after the birth, the cub was abandoned by the mother. When reunification with her mother Jwala was attempted, she was not accepted. From that moment on, she was raised by Kuno National Park management team with utmost care, always ensuring that it did not develop human imprinting. डिफरेंस क्या होता है अफ्रीकन चीता में और एशियन चीता में? IUCN स्टेटस की बात करें तो दिस वन इज वल्नरेबल वाइल दिस वन इज क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड, मतलब ये ज्यादा कम पॉपुलेशन बची है. अपेंडिक्स 1 में आता है ये साइट्स में, और ये अपेंडिक्स 1 में आता है. दिस इज फाउंड इन अफ्रीका, दिस फाउंड ओनली अ फ्यू इन ईरान एंड नाउ सम ऑफ देम इन इंडिया. वो भी अफ्रीका से ही लाए गए हैं, वैसे टेक्निकली एशियन चीतास नहीं है वो. डाइवर्स डाइट है इनकी ड्यू टू बिगर हैबिटेट, दिन की लिमिटेड डाइट है, मीडियम साइज पे खाते हैं ये. फिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स की बात करें तो अफ्रीका चीता इज बिगर इन साइज and has a better build, sturdy legs. This one is slightly smaller and slender. All right, last article of the day is Doval hosts meeting of Colombo Security Conclave in Delhi. At the 7th National Security Advisor level meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave, the member state focused on 5 pillars of cooperation that include radicalization and organized crime. They also agreed to enhance cooperation through training and capacity building. The meeting was hosted by NSA. Ajit Doval included a comprehensive review of security situation in Indian Ocean region and called for cooperation under 5 pillars, which are maritime safety and security, countering terrorism and radicalization, combating trafficking and transnational organized crime, cybersecurity and protection of critical infra and technology, and humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, said the Ministry of External Affairs. CAQM कैसे आ गया यहाँ पे? ये है स्लाइड हमारी. Combo Security Enclave is a Colombo Security Enclave is a key regional platform aimed at enhancing security cooperation among Indian Ocean region countries. Objective is to promote regional security and address transnational threats. Permanent Secretariat is in Colombo. Origin is in 2011 का एक trilateral maritime security grouping, जिसमें इंडिया, श्रीलंका और मालदीव्स थे. अभी members की बात करें तो इंडिया, श्रीलंका and Maldives are founding members. Mauritius joined in 2022. Bangladesh joined in 2024. Seychelles became the 6th member recently. In November 2021, India, Sri Lanka, Maldives conducted the exercise Dosti 15 in Maldives. And that sums up the analysis. Vocab की बात करें तो first word is mellifluous, which means madhur आवाज, having a pleasantly flowing quality suggestive of music. Melodic, sweet tone, soothing. Strident, harsh, and dissonant are synonyms. I grew up around people who had a wonderful mellifluous voice. The next word is scintilla. Scintilla मतलब होता है छोटा सा, नन्ना मुन्ना. नाम मरात, नाम मात्र. A very small amount. Glimmer, shred, bit are synonyms. Lot, bushel, plenty are antonyms. There isn't a scintilla of evidence to prove it. And the last word is complacent. Complacent मतलब होता है एकदम उदार, दयालु, willing or eager to please other people. Gracious, acquiescent, and agreeable are synonyms. She was a complacent wife and dutiful daughter. ये COMPLACENT वाला complacent से different है, जिसका मतलब होता है एकदम efforts ना करना, satisfied रहना. That is other complacent. ये वाला दूसरा complacent है. This is pleasing other people. All right, that sums up today's analysis. क्या बात है, 1 मिनट ही डिले हुआ हमें, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. चलो आज के लिए इतना ही. हम लोग पहुंचते हैं जल्दी से अपने स्ट्रैटेजी सेशन की तरफ. लेट्स गो टू द डिफरेंट लिंक. आई विल सी यू ऑल देयर इन द स्पेशल स्ट्रैटेजी सेशन ऑन हाउ टू मैनेज द नेक्स्ट 15 days. आ जाओ जल्दी से. सी यू ऑल देयर. टाटा, बाय बाय, थैंक यू.